Good morning, everybody. Lee Brower here, and welcome to this week's edition of Meaningful Monday. I'm grateful to be here, and I am glad to be here. Want to live longer? Want to live more meaningful? First, consider this. 22% of millennials say they have no friends. 9% of baby boomers say they have no friends. And in just a little over 20 years, the average American, the last 20 years, has gone from having approximately 3 friends, and it's dropped by a third down to 2 friends. So there's a trend there. Why is that concerning? What has allowed us as human beings to survive as a species? What is our superpower? It's not incredible speed, superior physical strength, or an ability to go long distances without food or water. What is our superpower? Those advantages belong to other species. In fact, probably when we compare ourselves to the animal kingdom, we are frail and weak and probably should have died out a long time ago. Except for one thing. We can work together. We can coordinate to hunt down large animals. We can coordinate to build shelters to protect us from the elements. And we can coordinate with a whole bunch of other things. And we can relate to and understand each other. Understand each other even beyond language. John Levy, in his book, You're Invited, he refers to research done by Dr. Julianne Holt-Lunstad, who's from Brigham Young University, where their group studied tens of thousands of people. They studied everything from their diet, their smoking habits, their marital status, their exercise, etc., to try to understand what leads to longevity. Well, after 7 years of tracking their group, they had an answer. And it wasn't the answer that anyone suspected. Okay, although clean air has a small positive impact on life expectancy, right? It wasn't nearly as important as having a flu vaccine and exercising. And those weren't as important as quitting drinking and smoking. So what surprised the researchers the most? What were the greatest predictors by far from relationships? Close relationships had the second greatest impact. These are those people we can rely on when we're in trouble. Those with whom we can talk through a problem we're having. Those who will pick us up pick up our kids if we're coming home late from work. Makes sense that these emotional connections would be essential. But what was completely unexpected was that the most important predictor of living a long life was what researchers called social integration. Social integration. This is how many people you talk to or connect with throughout the day. It could be your dry cleaner. It could be your colleagues at work, people at your yoga class. Doesn't matter, strangers. These connections aren't necessarily close friends, but they're people you engage with. Dr. Holt-Lunstad's research suggests that if you want to live a long and enjoyable life, the most important thing you can do is surround yourself with people and develop both deep, meaningful relationships and loose associations. Think about the blue zones. Think about Sardinia. That's the number one place on this earth where people live longer and better. In fact, and without any special diet, without any special exercise, what is the difference? The difference is relationships. Think about in that little tiny island that's part of Italy, there are 6 times the number of centenarians on that island than there is in all of Italy. There's 10 times more than what's in the United States. What's the difference? It's relationships. Not just the connections of those close, meaningful relationships, but loose relationships as well. And without connections, we suffer. We suffer as a society. We know that. We've seen it in the pandemic. And it has negative effects on our health, our productivity, our satisfaction, our meaningfulness. And we are right now currently seeing unprecedented levels of loneliness and disconnection. What's the good news? Want to live longer? Here's the good news. Human connection is something we're all capable of, regardless of how shy we are. Even if it may feel uncomfortable at times, we all have this capability. Otherwise, we would not have survived as a species. That is our superpower. This means each of us has an incredible potential to connect. And it doesn't require a lot of money, doesn't require a prescription, doesn't require special skills or exercises to solve this problem. We can improve the quality of our lives and the lives of others almost at no expense. People need connection now more than ever. And I know that sounds cliche, but the research supports it. And chances are high that the people you want to connect with are in need of connection too and may not even realize it. This is a good way for us to make life meaningful. Have a meaningful week. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.